U.S. men's national team and Mexico. Oh boy, where do we start here? So the final result, in case anybody does not know, was 2-1 bad guys, where we actually started the scoring early. I think it was like the 4th minute. Sebastian Berhalter with one of his not his first, not his second, might have been third assist if I'm not mistaken over the Gold Cup course of the Gold Cup. He set up Chris Richards for a nice header, bar down. Wasn't sure real time, but the refs gave it as a goal, and on replay, it looked like that's the right call. From there, pretty much everything did not go our way. Basically, Mexico controlled the game. We did have a chance or two here and there. We had one at the end of the first half, I remember. Freeman almost put one past their keeper. They scored first, or they equalized. Jimenez scored on a ball that I do not know how Tim Ream did not block in the first half. That was an equalizer. In the second half, unfortunately, Freeman got caught out on a set piece, and they scored on a header. And 2-1 was the final score. Timmy, I guess I'm going to put you on the spot here. Just first reaction to the game. What came to mind?
Um, I don't think we had a lot of the game, but I would actually argue that scoring that early was probably a really bad thing.
In
Because
retrospect, yeah.
not only just for us, but it just seemed like then we kind of let Mexico have a lot of the game after scoring early. Whereas maybe scoring that early, sometimes you do go a little bit relaxed button. And it doesn't really help you to set the tone in terms of tackles, passes, how sharp you want to be in that first 10, 15 minutes. So giving you that goal almost gives you a little bit of a cushion where you maybe in a final don't really want it, if that makes sense, before you set up the rhythm of what you want to do.
Fair, Mikey.
Hard to argue with that. Uh, I'm going to draw a lot of things back to what I know, and that's, you know, watching Premier League and watching clubs. If a team scores early in a big match, usually the end result, you look at the stats, it's like 70-30 the other way. They don't play their game. Shots are way different. Something changes in you when you score a goal that early in a final. So, and for a lot of these guys, it was their first major tournament final, if we're calling this that. And yeah, an early goal can disrupt you like that. My opinion on the whole matter is that uh, in the 5th or 6th minute, up 1-0, I started to look at the group and be like, you know what? I kind of see how Poch put this together. I kind of understand. And by the end of the game, obviously we all have different thoughts. But for a moment there, it did all kind of make sense. Did you feel that way?
No. I like the whole time I was like, we scored early, and I was like, this is good, this is good, this is good, right? And I was trying to convince myself that it was good. I don't. I mean, I agree with you in the sense that I think Poch did. I think he did what he was trying to do and get a look at a bunch of different guys, and at least the guys that he had some faith in, some confidence in. There were some guys that just did not play in this tournament. Guys that I want to ask Timmy about at some point, like Miles Robinson and Quinn Sullivan, some guys like that. But he played the guys that he was confident in. Patrick Ajimong is the number one, sort of guy on the list. He just kept playing Ajimong. He kept him in the game and everything like so. Like, I know that Poch was doing what he was trying, set out to do and sort of learn about the players that he really wanted to see. I just constantly, maybe I'm projecting my own insecurity here, but as soon as we scored, I was like, oh God, hold on. Don't get too defensive, but yet hold on. And it went exactly how you would think it went, or it would go. Like Mexico just had all the ball. They weren't particularly dangerous, which I think is a credit to our defenders. I know we gave Arston a lot of shit over the course of the tournament, Freeman a little bit less, but I think that those guys actually did okay. There was one time where Diego Luna and Arston both got beat on a ball. I think it was over the top. That was like, okay, guys, come on, let's turn our brains on here. Other than that, though, I thought they played okay.
They're not backs against the wall, low block defenders, though. None of them.
No,
Neither of those
definitely
guys
not.
are.
Definitely
And
not.
that's what they did for 90.
Which I
86.
think is kind of impressive, I mean, like, this team wasn't going to go out there and dominate possession against Mexico. That was never going to be this team. I don't know.
You sure?
This team? No, I didn't think so. I mean, with the guys we had out there, were you expecting us to have like 60% possession?
I think Poch wanted to play his way either way. I don't think he wanted to sit back. Like I think he wanted to go at him and try to keep the ball in play.
I mean, I'm sure he would want to do that. Like, of course you'd want to do that. I just don't think that we had the. I mean, to put it bluntly, I don't think we had the talent to do that with this team. I think that this team
I'm,
achieved
oh,
sort of
oh,
exactly what you would think would be their like bar, and unfortunately, this has been kind of a theme for U.S. men's national team for years now. They achieve what you kind of expect of them, and they never go any further. And beating Mexico would have been going further.
a lot of guys just weren't good enough to get the result, so that doesn't matter what was going to happen.
We had guys step up. So
Mm-hmm.
Tillman,
Who was a zero in this final? An
yes, and we'll get
absolute
to
zero.
that. So there was a lot of talk about Tillman and Luna, both guys that were sort of hyped up throughout the course of the tournament, who played very well, and then just did not show a lot against Mexico. And we'll get into that in just a second. There's other guys though. Just I'm talking the course of the tournament here. So Luna,
Yeah,
Tillman,
Freeman.
Richards. I mean, I think you got to say that about Tim Ream. I mean, like, what's your thoughts on Tim Ream at this point, Tim?
I mean, he's old, but he's still good.
Right.
I
That's what
mean,
I keep saying. I keep saying he's too old, and then he just keeps playing well, better than anybody else.
yeah, I mean, he's really good on the ball for us. He definitely leads from the back. I would say right now, I think he gets included in the World Cup roster for sure next summer. Yeah, and then you named Diego Luna. I thought he did really well in the tournament. Freeman, I thought was good. Matt Freeze, I thought he did well. I have question marks about Ajiman. I mean, I know Pochettino played him all 4 games, and maybe it's just a little bit of bias, but I really wanted to see Brian White get more burn. All the guy does is score goals. And I say that like truly, like Brian is a friend, but also, I mean, he's worked really hard. He's in really good form. I would have loved to see him get a little bit of burn, especially against, uh, especially against Mexico. For some reason, I feel like Brian would have fit really well in that game. And then, yeah, I mean, you mentioned Tillman as well. I thought he was probably the player of the tournament for the U.S. for multiple reasons. And I think he's also now probably put question marks into Pochettino's head about who the formation, who he wants to play, how he wants to play come World Cup time. Because he's got to be start thinking months and months ahead in terms of how he wants to play. Now he has an idea of at least midfield personnel who he has as well.
I have a question for you, Tim, because you obviously have the center back perspective here. The way Poch plays the fullbacks, I can only imagine is going to get more intense when it's Dest and Anthony. What do we need in the center backs? And can Tim Ream, is he athletic enough to play that exposed?
So I guess I was actually texting Sam about this. It blows my mind that we don't have like a natural left back playing left back because of the fact that like you just said, like we kind of commented on, Tim Ream's old, but like I said, he's been able to do well. Like he's been able to get by. He's still playing really well. But yeah, I think question marks maybe arise in terms of how you want to play that position. In my personal opinion, I thought it would have been better to have a natural left back and let your right back be a little bit more attack minded, so you would say. And
Yeah.
I think Freeman does a good job of getting forward. But if you want to play, right, if you want to play Dest at right back and you give him a little bit more freedom to almost play like a winger type back, and then you almost sit at home with Richards, Ream, and another left back, but more defensive minded, I think would make the most sense. But for some reason, they actually did the opposite and went down the left side.
Yeah, it's interesting because like when we're playing better nations, I want to know where the fullbacks are playing.
Yeah.
Anthony's gonna get forward and he's gonna start.
Yep.
So
Yep. And he should. He should.
yeah,
And he should get forward because it's one of his best attributes. It's just also one of those things where you're like, yeah, I mean, you don't want to leave Tim Ream out to dry, but I think he's also smart enough and tactical enough to understand what he has to do in those situations when he is 1v1 or in space.
agreed. Adams will help that a lot when he's, more comfortable with the formation and covering those gaps. But
Yeah.
yeah, Arston's that's probably the most telling thing from the tournament about Poch is the way he played Arston the entire time and the way he asked him to play. I find that super, super interesting.
I mean, it shows what Poch wants from his, fullbacks. I mean, well, I think anyway, in my sort of heart of hearts, that it will be the perfect fit for when we have, Dest and Jedi going down the wings. I don't know. That's my thoughts anyway.
We'll see.
Yeah, it's my hope.
Prayers for the group draw.
Mikey was already doing some. Was that you that was throwing him in the Discord?
The guys in the Discord were hitting the simulator, and I was telling them whether or not we'd get out.
Really?
Yeah, they were doing it for the World Cup 26 draw, and there were some draws that I was like, oh my god, because you're thinking about like with 48 teams, it's like there's no chance we're gonna get groups at home, right? And then somebody was coming up with some draws with like Egypt, Austria, and I don't even know, or was it Switzerland? I can't remember. Whatever it was, is like, oh shit.
Egypt, Croatia, Qatar was one of them, and I said no.